I'm Devorah Wallen, and I'd like to share my tea for two, my Torah thought, for 2 minutes, more or less. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Shelach. This means send out. God said to Moses, Shelach lecha anashim, send for yourself men. They were told, go up there into the Negev, go onto the hill country, and see what kind of country it is. Are the people who dwell in it strong or weak, few or many? Is the country in which they dwell good or bad? Are the towns they live in open or fortified, wooded or not? Take pains to bring back some of the fruit of the land. Now it happened to be the season of the first grapes. So after 40 days, they turned around and came back to Moshe and Aaron and the community with huge clusters of grapes that had to be brought on a caddy. Most of the scouts returned with this report. We came to the land you sent us to. It does indeed flow with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. However, the people who inhabit the country are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the Anakites, the giants there, and we felt like grasshoppers. And that must be how they perceived us. It goes on to say, the whole community broke into loud cries, and the people wept that night. All the Israelites railed against Moses and Aaron. If only we had died in the land of Egypt. The whole community shouted at them kvetchingly and finally said, let us head back for Egypt. What? Let's go back into slavery? Don't we sound a little irrational in the moment? Even though most of the spies came back frightened, Yoshua and Kalev came back with a wonderful report. Isn't it fascinating how people can see things from two totally different perspectives? One sees the bagel, the other sees the whole. Not only that, we also come with all sorts of negative cognitive distortions. When the spies came back and gave the negative report, not only did it create a lack of trust on their own part, but they influenced the whole nation with the sad report, and everybody panicked. They projected, and we felt like grasshoppers, and that must be how they perceived us. Negativity, constraint, fear, and panic are the opposite of letting go and trusting in oneself and in God. Once the people were in a state of panic, they had no access to their wise mind, their prefrontal cortex. Once their opinion had been swayed, there was a cognitive dissonance, and they were locked into this position. This was a brick wall between their report and that of the righteous and optimistic Yehoshua and Kalev. What can we learn from this incident? When Kalev said, let's go up and we will conquer the land, he was confident, trusting that if God told them that this would be our promised land, he would help us find a means. Yoshua knew that he would be able to conquer the Canaanites, and his perspective was colored in that direction. The Sfas Emes discusses a Talmudic discussion on this issue and concludes that the problems of the spies began when they had a negative self-perception. This caused others to perceive them in a negative way also, since one's attitude is very powerful. As a previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rayatz said, Machshava mo'elas, thought is potent, meaning it can actually cause things to occur. This old Torah principle is a new quantum physics one, that thoughts can influence our reality through the observer effect. We all put limitations on ourselves. However, the breakthroughs in 21st century neuroscience and what Dr. Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset, we can change our lives in drastic ways. Closing doors and windows makes it hard to see new possibilities. Although Henry Ford was not a real friend of the Jews, we can learn from his wise words. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. When a client says to me, I can't stop doing such and such, or I can't tell so-and-so what I really mean, or I can't tell them that I say, can't is a 4-letter swear word. It's a self-inflicted indictment that prevents you from growing. But I believe our lesson from the spies is to go with an open mind, enhance our own inner confidence, and trust that Hashem will help us out of whatever predicament. Let's let go and let God.